Can we just acknowledge how great I was at keeping a straight face?
You were. I could not believe you would not own up to this.
Come on and visit for any occasion. Don't keep patting down waiting. Comics and conversation. Keep the conversation moving along. Keep reading comics, keep your local store strong. If it's hard, then it's a job for the challengers. Comics and conversation, y'all.
From Challengers Comics and Conversation in Chicago, this is Contest of Challengers. And now, here are Patrick Brower and W. Dal Bush.
Well, Dal, today, as we record this, which seems to be the new pattern for us to record immediately after an event, today is A, Rusev Day.
Happy Rusev Day, Patrick.
Happy Rusev Day, Dal. B, Batman Day.
Which, I don't want to get off on a tangent here, but my understanding was that it was Batman Date, D-A-T-E, and I had the impression that I would have a chance to date Batman today, and while there's a lot of Batmen who showed up, Batman didn't. And I thought that was wildly out of character because my reading of Batman comics says that he's the one who gets stood up, not me.
I don't know if you realize this, but Batman was there. It's just that he was wearing a Batman mask over his Batman costume.
Oh, I thought that was just one of the Batmen
right,
who were
you
like
might
fans.
not have known.
Oh.
So you had your chance.
He should have made a move then.
Well, because this is, of course, Batman Day, the question that I want to start with is, how are you enjoying the DC streaming service so far since it launched today on Batman Day?
Well, I didn't get to enjoy it as much as I wanted to because while I signed up for the first month and the 7-day free trial this morning, my intention was to use it to stream content to the Apple TV in the store and be able to watch some Batman animated series episodes during the Batman Day event.
Sure, because that is like the main selling point to most people.
Virtually nothing else on there. At least nothing worth watching. Unfortunately, we were not able to do so. There were technical difficulties. I don't know if it's through the app or through our older Apple TV that prevented us from being able to stream the content. Other stuff would stream. I could stream movies from
Netflix
that I bought off of iTunes.
Oh.
And stuff from Netflix.
Did you have any Batman movies we could have? Like, could we have watched Dark Knight?
We could have, but we've done those before, and I wanted to do something that was a little all ages appropriate. Some of that stuff is, I don't know, it's not colorful enough, I guess is what I want to say. Like, there's scenes in there that are not the sort of thing that you catch 15 seconds of while standing in line.
Right, sure. So what did we wind up streaming?
Well, we had Netflix on the Apple TV, so we were able to stream 3 of their Batman Unlimited movies that are incredibly colorful and goofy.
And I kept asking you questions about them. You're like, I don't know, I haven't seen these.
I literally just picked them because they were on Netflix. That's all Netflix had for Batman.
Yes, but you were able to answer my question as to who was voicing Green Arrow.
Because I happened to look up at the screen while the credits were playing to say, oh, Chris Diamantopoulos from
Silicon
Valley and other things. Yeah. And Justice League Action as the voice of Green Arrow. Actually, it's not true. I don't think he does Green Arrow. Does he? Does he do? Yeah, he does Green Arrow.
He does Green Arrow, yeah.
I was going to say it was Alan Tudyk, but that was in a different program.
And it used to be Scotty from General Hospital, Ken Shriner. Scotty from General Hospital, Ken Shriner used to do in Justice League Unlimited. Are those going to be on there? That'd be a great
They are.
That's a good cartoon.
Yeah, the one thing that was really perplexing to me about the DC Universe streaming service is that, again, one of the main reasons to get it is, hey, Batman Animated Series stuff in HD. And they have a listing for the Batman Animated Series, and underneath the title it says 3 seasons. But when you go to, like, when you click on it to see the episodes, you only have 2 seasons. They don't seem to have the new Batman Adventures, the final season, when they did their new designs, the Red Sky stuff. They don't have that in there, which is my favorite Batman stuff.
Sure.
So it was not a huge loss to not be able to stream those to the TV because all I wanted to watch were those episodes. So I tried the Batman Beyond Return to the Joker movie because that's a really good movie, but unfortunately we couldn't get it to stream. So now, I will probably check those out over the next few days.
You said you signed up for the first month and 7 days free.
Mm-hmm.
So is it for a month?
Well, you have to, with any of these like trial things, you have to give them your billing information because they will automatically bill you at the end of the trial period.
Yeah.
So I don't think we got charged yet, but I don't know.
So you have 7 days to cancel.
Yeah, 7 days to decide if you want to keep it or if you want to cancel. Otherwise, you will be billed for a month, and you will have a month before you can cancel it again.
What do you foresee as a thing that would keep you subscribed after your 7 days?
Just generally more content. A lot of the original projects that they're talking about aren't things that necessarily enthrall me, and a lot of the stuff that is kicking around other services, like the CW shows, I wouldn't subscribe to something to get.
Yeah.
So it would need to be the previous content that exists now. Everything I would want to watch is currently on their service, the various WB cartoons. But I would need new stuff to come out that would make me think I can get value out of this. As it stands, it definitely feels like the sort of service where once a year I might get it for a month and just catch up on a bunch of things rather than something I would keep for a year to keep going back to. Because I don't watch old series that much. I subscribe to a variety of streaming services right now that I get zero use out of. So I don't know that I could even make a case for one more of them right now, no matter what they have.
Especially when one more of them costs the same. Well, basically, DC streaming service is the same cost as the low tier of Netflix.
Yeah, the DC Universe streaming service, as it stands now, is either $5 or $8, depending on if you want to go monthly, which is $8, or get a year's or 15 months worth, which is $5.
But that's if you pay up front.
Right. Yeah, it's an interesting service, and we've talked a little bit about it before. But there's probably a fan out there for whom it makes a lot of sense. It's curated selection of comic books. It's 40% of available DC content video service. The ability to buy limited edition items, like all the Justice League Unlimited figures, went up in the last couple days, so you could get the main 7 and Aquaman. I think, because he was not. I don't believe he was a main cast member for Justice League. I think he was like a part timer.
Yeah.
But you can get all 8 of them right now if you want to in the DC Direct style, the hyper articulated, to go with your Batman animated figures.
I want to go back to the pricing for a minute because I think it's kind of interesting that I'm literally saying $7 a month is too much, or $7.99, $8 a month is too much.
Mm-hmm.
When that gives you as much of their content as you can watch. That's basically the cost of 2 DC comics.
It's true. It's less. No, it's about.
But
I don't know if they charge tax, though. I don't know.
That's a good point. I'm sure they do. I'm sure there's some sort of service fee or something.
They might have to.
But the difference is the comparison to what you get from similar other products. Comparing the $7.99 price tag of DC Unlimited to Netflix, to Hulu, to Amazon Prime.
Well, that's pretty...
They're in the same ballpark.
Yeah, it's pretty typical when there's a market leader in the streaming category, and that's Netflix. So what they offer and what they charge becomes the benchmark. If you offer more content than they do, you can charge more. If you offer less, you have to charge less. And,
sure.
And like you said, the thing that stuck out to you was that it is the cost of the lowest tier of Netflix service. So that becomes an untenable price point, regardless of how much personal value you might derive from their content. The fact is they don't have enough of it to warrant that price.
Yeah, but comparing comic books to a streaming service is a disservice to the comics.
Sure.
Well, you can compare the price point of DC Comics to the price point of Marvel Comics or Image Comics or Dark Horse Comics or whatever.
Right.
The same way you can compare DC Universe to Netflix or Hulu or something else. Mm-hmm. So, saying, oh, this equals this, they're completely different forms of entertainment.
Sure.
So, the comic books are priced what comic books cost, the streaming is cost what the streaming costs.
Yeah.
You can't say, well, I will get more value from DC Unlimited just by watching one program than I would out of reading 2 comics, because watching one episode of a Batman cartoon will take me longer.
Sure. And I guess the other thing to keep in mind is that we're talking about renting something versus buying something.
That's true. You don't own these things.
At the end of the month, you still have your 2 comic books. If you cancel your DC streaming service, you don't have it anymore. You have the shows you watched as long as you remember that you watched them. That's how long they last for.
I understand the publishers embarking on new ventures for their share of entertainment dollar. But it feels like each new one that comes out pushes comics further behind. not behind, but further away from the top of the pile or further away from the reader's hands. So, like, if you have to make a choice between, well, I have $8 to spend on DC this month, is it going to be 2 comics? Is it going to be a streaming service?
I don't know that people think that way, though.
I hope they don't.
I don't think people have a specific DC budget. And I think, if anything, it's something where instead of saying I have $8 to spend, do I do the comic books or do I do the streaming service? I think it's more the competition for the DC streaming service is Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Those sort of things. Like, it might even be like Marvel's Digital Unlimited service, where there's so much money I want to spend each month on streaming services or subscription programs. So a trip to the comic shop, money spent on a comic book becomes part of a different budget. I think. That's how I usually look at streaming services and that kind of thing. I assume other people feel the same way. I don't know. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe I'm looking at it backwards.
Well, we legitimately look at streaming services as research to help us do our job better.
I guess.
I mean, on our taxes we do.
We definitely do. I mean, as long as we watch those Marvel and DC shows, I guess it counts.
And we could write off DC Unlimited.
We could, or we could just not subscribe to it.
Or we could just not subscribe to it. There's that, too. I admit there is some morbid curiosity about the Titans show, but it's going to be terrible from the get-go. And if it does get good and people rave about it, we'll have left by then.
Yeah, you can always re-sign up. There's no blackout period. It's not like if we don't re-up after the 7-day trial, we're barred from, subscribing to the DC Universe streaming service in the future.
No.
They would happily take us back.
No, we burned that bridge, man. We're not going back.
Don't think that's
not going back. How dare they? But what we will go back to, this point next year, I'm assuming, is Batman Day. And yes, that is one of the clunkier segues I've done, but it still got us to the point we needed to be at.
It did, which is talking about Batman Day 2018. This year's Batman Day was on September 15th. I checked the calendar. September 23rd was the date in 2017.
Now, this is the 4th Batman Day. It started in 2014, but it started back in late July, and it was on a Wednesday.
Yeah, it was the Wednesday that you were in San Diego.
Yes.
Because at that year's San Diego Comic-Con, DC was doing a huge push for Batman's anniversary. So the Batman Day that was happening in stores was basically to coincide with all of the Batman stuff they were doing in San Diego. It was supposed to just be a one-day thing.
And that was his 75th.
Yeah, but it was successful enough that retailers clamored for DC to make it an annual event. So DC said, sure.
I mean, literally, from what you and Jimmy had told me about how great it was.
It was nuts. Like, we got behind it. Like, DC the first year had done some promotional items. Like, they were doing paper masks based on different Batman cowls from over the years. There was, like, First Appearance, Dark Knight Returns, Greg Capullo Modern, something else.
Batman 66.
Batman 66. And there was some other stuff. I don't remember 100% what it was. And there was a free comic that was, I think maybe it was the first Greg Capullo, Scott Snyder Batman, I think, probably.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So we'd gotten behind it. We'd ordered stuff, bundles of things and free comics, and we'd stocked up on some Batman graphic novels.
Too, right?
Yeah, the capes. We didn't do a ton of those because those cost a bunch, so we weren't giving those out.
Yeah, they're not cost effective to give away.
The masks, I think it was like a bundle of 25 masks was like
$5.
It was like 5 or 12, like 10 or 12 bucks, I think.
Okay.
It was like basically 50 cents to give them away. So we're like, fine, we'll give those out. But the capes were like $5 at least for a cape, and we're like, we're not giving out a $5 cape. That's nuts.
Yeah.
But we were slammed. We were so busy the entire day. And it was a Wednesday, obviously, so that tilts it a little bit. There's a certain amount of people that are coming in just because it's Wednesday. But
do you recall if we gave a discount that year?
I think we were giving a discount if you wore a piece of Batman merchandise.
Okay.
Like if you're wearing a t-shirt or a hat or a button or something, you get a discount to encourage people to participate in the day. Which we found out almost immediately, like people wearing Batman stuff because they were just wearing Batman stuff. So some people got a discount. They're like, why? Like, oh, you wore the t-shirt. Like, it was Wednesday. So I think in years since, I don't think we've really enforced you have to wear a piece of clothing to get the discount. Like, people just wear it anyway.
The following year, the first one I was taking part of, we did 25% off 20% off any Batman stuff, 25% off if you were in Batman gear.
Okay.
And that included jewelry.
Okay.
Yeah, but that was the only year we did it as an add-on,
Okay.
an up discount. Because of how well it did for the store, the first one when I was in San Diego, the next day I went to Matt Keller from DC Comics and said, "Hey, we had an amazing day. It would be great if this was a regular thing." And he's like, "That's great. I'm hearing that from people. Can you put that in writing and send it to me so we can show it to the higher ups?"
Yeah.
And
It's a promotional event, and DC puts a lot into it. Not as much as they did the first year, because the first year was supposed to be a one-off thing. But each year they do, an interactive map. They do activity kits for stores so they can print stuff out for kids. They do, obviously, the giveaway comic books. They do stuff with libraries and bookstores and comic shops. I mean, they
do exclusives with GameStop.
It's true. They do a lot of stuff. It is not a thing that they just kind of, shrug off each year. They put a lot of effort into it every year. And that's a lot to ask of them.
Since then, they moved it to September, and they moved it to Saturday, usually like second or third Saturday of the month. And I realized, looking back through our records, every Saturday Batman Day, we've had Luke Smarto as an artist doing free sketches.
That's great. Thanks, Luke.
He's in the last 3 years, including this year, so thanks, Luke. This year we had, as you know from previous episodes, Luke Smarto, Stephanie Mydad, and Tom Kelly. And they were significantly busy all day long.
Yeah, it's true.
They did a lot of sketches, and I was asking, like, what was your favorite sketch? Or there were no, like, weird left field ones. There were no
It's true.
oddities. Tom Kelly had his favorite, I think, was a Batman versus Clayface.
Okay. Neat.
We were doing face painting with Samantha for the second or third year. I'm not sure. We definitely did it last year. Now, Dal, we keep talking about this being the fourth Batman Day, but last year wasn't Batman Day. It was Harley Quinn Day.
That's correct.
And Harley Quinn Day did not do as well for us as this year's Batman Day or the previous Batman Day. But I think...
So the first year must have been 2015 then.
Wait, 18, 17, 16, 15. No, it was definitely 14 because I was in San Diego in 2014.
Was it?
Yeah, so maybe this was the fifth.
When did we win the Eisner?
2013.
Okay, so this must be the fifth then.
Yeah, okay.
Because you were in San Diego because you were a judge the following year.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, all this time we were off by one. It was the fifth Batman Day. That's crazy.
Is that right?
It would have to be.
I'm going to see if I can look that up real quick. I don't know how quickly I'm going to find that.
I mean, 100% the first Batman Day was when I was in San Diego because of the story I just told you of me going to Matt Keller.
Type in Batman Day 2014 and see what comes up.
Okay. I'm sure that it was a September.
Yeah. July 23rd, 2014 was Batman Day.
Okay.
For his 75th anniversary.
When I said September, I meant 2015.
Right. So yeah, so 2014, 15, 16.
So this was the 80th anniversary one?
Yes.
Huh.
No, next year would be the 80th anniversary.
Wait, so if it was 75th and 14, and this is the 5th, this has to be 80. If 2014 was the 75th, 2015 is 76, 2016 is 77... Okay, 79, you're right. Yeah.
You're the one with the pad of paper. You should have been writing this down to count this out.
Let me count for you.
Look, we don't sell numbers, we sell comic books, okay?
It's been 4 years.
Okay, people?
This is the fifth Batman Day, but it's only been 4 years since the first. Dow.
Patrick.
That's why.
That's how these numbers work.
That's why it's difficult.
I hope they do it next year, then. Man, oh man.
Well, I hope they do something different because, I'll be honest, this year we didn't even download the activity pages because the last couple of years it's just been rehashes of the original ones.
Yeah, and it takes up a ton of space, and I don't think that we need that many activities for children, as it turns out. The activity is getting free comic books and face painting and getting sketches from artists, and that's plenty. That and pictures with Batgirl.
Yeah, Maria, Catamaria Creations, or I'm not sure exactly what her Catamaria create. I think her cosplay stuff.
Okay.
She made the DC Superhero Girls Batgirl costume from scratch. Sewed it herself. It came out great. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, really good.
And good photo op. Of course, we have the giant phone Arkham Knight Batman as well. And my favorite part of today was like kids would come in Batman costumes or Robin costumes or Batman t-shirts, and some parents came in full costumes, things like that. But there was a little girl who was very, very shy and hiding amongst her mother's legs, like kids are akin to do. And she was dressed up as a Bat character. I don't... Maybe it was just a t-shirt. I can't remember exactly what she was wearing. But the mom's like, look, there's Batgirl. They're pointing to Maria. I'm like, Maria, look. So Maria, like, walks over, like, super energetic and happy and bright. It's like, hi! And the kid just turns around, bolts out the door.
Wow.
Like, doesn't run, just walks very fast, turns left, and is going down the street.
For the day.
Parent had to run after the kid, and then they could not, like, the kid never came back in because they're just too shy.
Aww.
But it was so funny. Like, nope,
No, not into this.
just like, not like screaming, crying, scared, just like, this is not a thing for me.
Yeah.
And the mom's like, oh, she's really shy.
Oh, it's too bad.
It's just funny. I mean, and Maria just laughed as it happened. There was no, like,
Sure.
no one takes offense or anything. It was adorable, though. But yeah, man, people really respond to Batman Day, and did I already say this? Our Tragic Flaw last year was not offering a discount.
Yeah, we overlooked it for some reason. I don't remember why.
We just forgot.
Okay.
I mean, we had 3 creators, and we had face painting like we did today.
Yeah.
We did have Lexi Bell as Harley Quinn, and we thought that was going to be a bigger draw than it was.
Yep.
But also, we forgot the discount.
Yeah, turns out that was pretty crucial.
Like, we didn't realize till midway through the day, like, oh no, we didn't do this.
Mm-hmm.
So even giving away 20% on Bat-related merchandise today, we still did significantly better than last year.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also, people just may not... like, maybe we should have called last year Batman Day guest starring Harley Quinn or something, still putting Batman up front.
Yeah, it was definitely something we talked about in the post-game for last year, which was that DC keeps pushing Harley Quinn as, like, their 4th pillar. Like, it's Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Harley Quinn. And Harley Quinn is a huge character in a lot of different media for DC. It's just, we can't ever seem to sell Harley Quinn comics commensurate with that.
No.
We don't even carry Harley Quinn for the shelf anymore because no one was buying it. The graphic novels turn occasionally, but not often.
We don't even buy the new ones.
Yeah, the posters, sometimes. Action figures, sometimes. But yeah, so calling it Harley Quinn Day, you might as well have called it, Flash Day, or Green Lantern Day, or Hawkman Day, or whatever.
Batman Day.
Like, people did not make the connection that it was Batman Day. So the joke of, it's Harley Quinn Day, hilarious, cost us a ton of money.
Yeah. And because this worked so well for DC, every publisher does this all the time with Alien Day and Predator Day and
Doctor Who Day.
Doctor Who Day, which was also the first.
Yeah.
They did it back in 2014.
We did. I remember we did both of those, and Batman Day, huge success. Still doing it to this day. Doctor Who Day, 2 people came out. Nobody cared. We put a ton of effort into it. Never did another Doctor Who Day.
It still exists. Titan still does it each year, but we
don't.
don't participate.
Nope.
But we don't do any of those. We don't do Alien Day. We don't do...
We try stuff when it makes sense, and if it succeeds, then we do more of it. But yeah, if it doesn't succeed, I'm not going to keep doing those things. No.
We will be doing Walking Dead Day.
Yes.
Which is Saturday, October 13th.
Uh-huh.
The same day that we will have Daniel Warren Johnson in signing Murder Falcon #1.
Should we be doing a discount for Walking Dead stuff that day?
I guess, yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Okay. Now that we know that, we can start promoting it.
And do you want to do zombie face painting?
Yeah.
I just thought that was funny to
Sure.
put in there. But it's like midnight releases. Now they're all the time.
Yeah, and we've talked before about the idea of kind of picking and choosing. Like, there was a recent, like this week's DC email to retailers had a section where they're like, if you're doing a midnight release on September 19th, you can sell DC product. And I'm like, if you can do a midnight release for what? And you're like, oh, there's this DC thing? I'm like, no. The way DC phrased it, it's like it's another company, but they don't want to say what. And then we figured out, like, oh, Marvel's doing a Wolverine midnight release. I'm like, oh, yeah, we're definitely not doing that.
But it could be a Batman Damned midnight release.
Could be, but it's not going to be.
No. A quick side note. Batman Damned #1 comes out next week, and it's already sold out from DC.
Yep.
And we have multiple club members adding it every day.
Yeah.
And we're going to be cut short.
Oh my god. Now that we're like within the last 7 days before release, it seems like everybody is hyper aware of this book in a way where, as always, if you could have been hyper aware of it 2 weeks ago, it would have helped me a lot.
Tremendously.
Yeah, the people were just like, is Batman Damned out yet? Oh, it's coming out this week. Oh man, I'm so excited for it. Why didn't you tell me that a month ago?
And these are people that don't read Batman regularly. You know?
It was in our emails. It was
Yeah.
on our website.
Yeah.
God damn it. God damn it.
Did people get a Batman Damned email?
Yes.
What was it matched to? Batman?
Probably Batman.
Okay.
I assume.
So one of our largest pulled books.
Yeah.
And
Hard to believe that people who got Batman Damned weren't already at least aware of the Batman comic book, but it seems like a lot of people weren't. Okay.
what is going to what was working against it for us was it's an $8 price point.
It's oversized.
It's an awkward size. But
and it's a 3-issue miniseries.
yeah.
How much do I want to bet hard on a book that's not going to be around for more than 6 months?
And that'll be collected almost immediately.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, we ordered confidently, but not like insane. And then we realized we should have ordered more. And I'll be honest, this was another one of those where I was a lot more cautious and you raised it. And then this Wednesday, I'm like, should we get more?
And luckily, we were able to order some more
A handful
before
of more.
it completely locked out.
Yeah.
But it's going to be like a week or two before those extra copies show up.
Which they'll all, I'm sure, we'll have a waiting list for those.
Yeah, I mean, they'll sell. I'm not worried about
Yeah.
it. It's just it would be nice to have those the week of.
Yeah, but at least we can confidently say, well, we're getting more
Yeah.
when this sells out. But, man, yeah. And also, like the...
The good news, though, is that it's a bi-monthly book, which means it comes out every 2 months, which gives them a gigantic window to go back to
For
press.
second print, yeah.
You could go back to press a month before issue 2 comes out.
Did you see how lopsided our A to B covers were?
I don't remember what the B cover was supposed to be.
I thought it was also a Libre Mejo. I don't remember all. I'm just guessing.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I ordered like a variant, which is, a quantity, but not
Yeah.
nearly as high as the A cover.
Yeah.
Although realistically, where our club numbers are, we probably have the same amount of A and B covers for the shelf.
Huh. Now.
Now, probably.
Well, that's a bad sign because we
It's
have a
not
very
great.
small
It's not great. It's
number
not.
of B covers.
It's not very small. It's not as large as we would like it to be, but double that, and it's a decent number.
Yeah.
I think it will be fine-ish.
Yeah, I know. It's just annoying because we don't want to lose money by spending too much on a book that's not going to sell.
Yeah.
But then we don't want to be caught short and leave money on the table.
Right, that's the main dilemma in the single-issue comic book market. And you just reach a point where we sold out, cool, we didn't lose any money.
Yeah.
It sucks that that's the attitude, but, I mean, that's how you stay in business.
I don't know. And, it's got John Constantine. I like him a lot.
Sure.
But who knows? I mean, this doesn't have a Batman who's actually a Joker in it that we know of.
You don't know that.
I said that we know of.
You don't know.
That we know of. We don't know for sure. That's true. I'm gonna write this down. I'm taking notes now.
It does have a Joker who's a ghost, though, so that's pretty cool, right?
Or something.
Or something.
I'm taking notes during this podcast the way I used to do it. So when because one of the things I dislike the most is the writing up of, not the show notes, but just like the...
Topics list?
Yeah, just so people know what's in the episode, which is a thing I never used to do. It used to just be like a sentence of what we're going to touch on, but I've been encouraged to, for the last 2 years, we've been trying to give people a better idea of
Sure.
what is actually in...
As somebody who doesn't listen to a lot of podcasts but listens to a podcast, I do appreciate when podcasts tell me what's in them, like what they talk about.
Yeah.
For sure. I find that very helpful.
I guess it's because the things I listen to are vastly different than yours. I'm just in it for the long haul.
Sure.
Like if it's off panel, I just want to know who the guest is.
Sure. Yeah, the stuff I listen to is definitely more geared around fandoms and hobbies, and that's the sort of thing where they'll touch on 7 or 8 different things in an episode. So I'll kind of want to know ahead of time, like, what are they talking about this week? Is it listener questions? Is it news items? Is it, whatever?
I mean, those are usually done like we used to do. At the end of the episode, we'd go back and do the introduction, like, hey, here's what we're going to talk about this week. And someone who's great at it is John Suntress from Word Balloon.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things he always winds up saying is whoever he's talking to, like, let's say he's talking to you,
mm-hmm.
He's like, the guest on this week's Word Balloon is Dal Bush from Challengers Comics and Conversation in Chicago, and we have a real fun conversation about a list of topics.
Mm-hmm.
And then ends with, I hope you enjoyed it. So it was a real fun conversation. So they're all real fun conversations?
That means none of them are.
What I mean, it just means you're not.
He's
you
never
can't-
had fun.
You can't say this conversation drags a little bit in the middle,
Uh-huh.
but like I genuinely believe he had a good time talking to these people, and that comes through in his interviews.
Okay.
But they're all fun conversations.
Sure.
I mean, I know that ours aren't necessarily all fun.
No,
This one is great, though. I'm having a great time talking to you.
I'm glad.
Do you want to say anything back?
I just said I was glad
That you're talking to me?
that you're having a good time
Are
talking
you,
to me.
Are you having a good time?
What's next on your list? What else did you want to talk about? Are you still talking
No,
about Batman Day?
no. My list is
Right.
as we talk about things, I write it down. I'm not reading off a thing.
Okay.
You're just trying to change the subject.
I really am.
You are having a bad time.
I am having an allocation of time.
You
one of
are
the things-
having such a bad time. You may as well be Chelsea Kane.
I wasn't done talking about Batman
Oh,
Day.
sorry. I thought you were changing the topic.
No.
Hey, Dad, let's talk about Batman Day some more.
Okie dokie. One of the things I thought was interesting
Let me
from
just cross out Chelsea Kane on
the
this list right here.
end of day numbers, like Patrick said, we were up significantly over 2017 because it was Batman Day instead of Harley Quinn Day. And
Women,
the
right?
crowd was much more into the idea of Batman.
Batman.
But the thing that was surprising to me, a couple of things. One, the number of transactions today was not huge.
Yeah.
It was basically what a really good Wednesday would be, which isn't anything to sneeze at, and certainly like something we will absolutely take any day of the week. But for an event that was previously like a second free comic book day, this was not that.
Was it above this number?
By 8, yes.
Okay. Was it exactly this number?
It is exactly that. How did
Okay.
you know? Was that my card?
Is that your card?
Mentalism.
I want you to say, list all the cards. Just look me in the eye and list all the cards. Ace through king.
Name every number between 0 and 109, and I will know. I'll know which one it is just from how you say it.
You drew a star in a circle.
So the number of buyers was not crazy. It was a really good day, and the number of transactions maybe doesn't tell the whole story because the dollar value was a lot higher than we would expect for that number of transactions. So people were spending more money per purchase. Per
yeah,
per
and there was a
transaction.
lot of variety. There was a bunch of stuff being bought today, not just comics.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite ones was someone spent $60 or $70 on just Spider-Man stuff, and it's like, it's Batman Day, but they just wanted Spider-Man stuff. The kid just wanted Spider-Man things, so they just bought Spider-Man stuff.
The Batman graphic novel section didn't look that picked over.
No, it got nailed, but it didn't get obliterated. I was expecting to have to, like, you know,
Massive reorder.
create a whole shelf off of the shelves where the books that sold, but not what happened. The thing that was most surprising to me was that on Batman Day, our Marvel single-issue sales were twice what our DC single-issue sales were.
Oh my god.
On Batman Day, still sold more Marvel comic books. I don't know what DC's got to do to get that market share back, but man.
Yeah, FYI, anybody that I rung up that had like Batman stuff in their club, I didn't give them a discount on that.
Sure. No,
There you got a
usually
club discount.
discounts don't apply to held items. If you've got something on hold, whether that's a subscription thing or something that you asked us a week in advance to set aside for you, a sale discount does not supplant that or stack on that. I guess it leads into my question of why didn't DC release any brand new project the Wednesday before Batman Day?
Yeah, why
is
wasn't
Batman
Damned
Damned coming out on the 19th
Yeah.
instead of on the 12th?
Maybe it was supposed to, but I mean, it was never scheduled.
But I mean, if they can plan enough ahead to get the giveaway comic books like the White Knight and the Little Gotham stuff ready,
Well, keep in
why
mind-
can't they work their production schedule for their comics enough to go, something's got to come out on the 12th? Could be an annual, could be a one-shot, could be a brand new miniseries. It's got to be something. I think it's a missed opportunity.
This plays into your theory, but initially, Batman White Knight #1 was the only Batman Day book from this year.
Mm-hmm.
But because retailers had said, we need something for younger readers, we can't give this to kids.
Yeah, it's a Teen Plus book.
We primarily get kids in for Batman Day. You have to give us something else that they just said, okay, fine, we'll do Little Gotham as well.
Yeah.
So they got that out in time and at the same date that they got White Knight 1 to us.
Sure. For a company that produces anywhere between 4 and 8 Batman single-issue comic books over a month, the idea that they couldn't figure out one thing, literally one, it could be an all-star thing, it could be a best of, it could be something.
Dal, I don't want to play devil's advocate.
However,
First issue of James Robinson's run on Detective.
yeah, that's not going to cut it. Yeah, the James Robinson, Steven Segovia fill-in arc of Detective Comics, not what I'm talking about. Nor do I mean like Batman number 54 or whatever, if that had been this week.
Right.
It needs to be a number one. It needs to be a special project. It needs to be a thing where, hey, you're in for Batman Day. This. Again, Batman Damned would have been... If we would have known that was coming out the week before, or the Wednesday before Batman Day, we probably would have doubled our numbers, even before all of the requests were coming in.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you got an audience. Dozens of people are going to come in who will not come in next Wednesday, and probably aren't going to come in again until Free Comic Book Day 2019, have something to sell them. Like most comic companies nowadays, try, at least the major ones, try and have something brand new coming out the Wednesday before Free Comic Book Day. Because you know that tens of thousands of people are going to be going to comic shops nationwide.
Plenty of new eyeballs are going to be on
that Saturday.
Those shelves.
And you could make the argument, and I'm sure someone will, that it's all new to these people, so it doesn't need to be a brand new thing. But man, those folks are always looking for number ones. They want to know what's brand new. They want to know what is fresh. Even if you can go, look, you haven't been in here a year. Here's 12 months worth of number ones and 12 months worth of fresh books. No, if you can tell them this just came out Wednesday, they are so much more likely to buy it. I don't know why, but that's how their psychology works. I've seen it happen for 20 years.
Dal, I don't want to discount anything you're saying, but in the midst of what you're talking about, I had an idea for next year's Free Comic Book Day that I think is a surefire smash.
Okie dokie.
And it's all I could think about, so I miss a lot of what you're saying right now.
That's okay, I wasn't listening.
So I would like to tell you my idea.
Ready for it.
And all I'm doing is adding one word to the event title. Free Comic Book Rusev Day.
Feels a little busy to me.
Think so?
A little busy.
Huh. So I shouldn't start writing and drawing that free Rusev Day comic.
I mean, you definitely should, but not for that reason.
Okay. I'm thinking there's a new hero who prowls the night, Machka Man.
Okay.
And he says, "Oh yes. Oh yes!"
I don't know wrestling stuff enough. I assume that's a reference.
Yeah, it's a Macho Man.
Is it? Okay.
Ooh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yes. Anyway, back to Batman Day. We'll talk about Rusev Day later, which, I mean, I think it's pretty great of Rusev Day to not mind Batman Day being on Rusev Day.
Yeah. Every year it seems like that happens for Batman Day. It's always Rusev Day.
Well,
it's so
I
weird.
mean, it's just the way it works out.
It's so weird.
I like that while we used that a lot today, a lot of people got it, a lot of people did not get it. For example, our employees. Samantha gets it. Ashley, no idea what we're talking about.
Could not care less.
Nope. And I'm like, Google it and find out. And you're like, do not Google it.
She didn't care.
No. And she wouldn't want to know. And she'd think it was dumb.
She didn't care.
But she's wrong, because Rusev Day is awesome. Yeah, it's a missed opportunity to not have the Damned out.
True. Speaking of missed opportunities, you know what's a missed opportunity?
What's that?
Marvel Comics deciding not to publish Chelsea Kane and her husband's brand new Vision comic series. See what I did there?
I don't...
Brought it all the way back around.
We were talking about Batman Day.
Not anymore. I'm done. I'm done talking about Batman Day.
Okay. Chelsea, also your favorite football club.
I am actually an Arsenal supporter. Sorry.
Okay, first of all, that's my line. I use that all the time. You know that. And you know that I use it because it angers most people.
Delightful. And now it's angered you.
How dare you. The goddamn tides have turned. Well played, you did. It's my line. Hey, so what's going on with Chelsea Kane and the Vision? I'm pretty excited to read this new 6-issue miniseries that she's writing that talks about Vision being a single dad raising Viv.
Past Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, somewhere in there, we'd finally sent out an email to our subscribers who'd gotten the previous Vision series by Tom King and Gabriel Hernandez Walton.
Which was excellent.
Which was super excellent and a perennial seller.
I mean, sorry, Matt Walsh.
Michael Walsh.
No, I'm talking about the Veep actor.
Oh.
Because he was signed up for this new series.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah.
I hope we'll find something else to read because...
But you're right, Michael Walsh did do a fill-in issue on the 12-issue Vision series. You're right.
He did, yes.
Like number 6?
Something like that.
Yeah, 5 or 6.
But anyway, we had...
also, Matt Walsh went to my high school.
Sent out an email to all of our previous Vision subscribers to say, hey, there's a new Vision series coming out starting in November. It's a 6-issue series by Chelsea Kane. I can never remember her husband's name. I always want to say Mark Maron, but it's not.
Mark Mahan.
Mark Mahan. I knew it's so close that I'm always like,
Right.
wait, what?
You're forgiven. I mean, that's also what helps me remember.
With art by Odd Cook and covers by Marcos Martin.
I almost said Paulo Rivera.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. In my mind, I'm always like, Paulo Rivera. Wait, no, the other one. Marcos Martin.
Hey, by the way, that's not racist. That's stylist.
No, and plus it's because Marcos Martin has like followed Paulo Rivera on projects.
Yeah.
That's why in my brain it's always like they are one contiguous artist that I have to remember.
That's why I like the
beginning
word
or end?
stylist
Beginning or end?
as a way to represent that type of where you're confusing one person because they have similar styles.
Yes.
For example, Adam Hughes and Ryan Sook.
Sure. Nowadays, yeah.
Yeah.
Remember when Ryan Sook was Mike
Mike
Mignola?
Mignola? Yeah.
Until he became Adam Hughes?
Yep.
Hope
Remember when Greg Capullo was nothing but a John Romita Jr. clone?
Sure. I miss those days.
Yeah, you missed that Quasar book.
Before he was Todd McFarlane.
Yeah.
Anyway, 6-issue limited series, continuing on from where the Tom King, Gabriel Hernandez Walter series
and
had
not
left.
Matt Walsh.
Following up with Vision and his teenage daughter Viv. Written by a couple who has a teenage daughter, so they were going to bring a lot of that experience to it in the same way that I think Mariko Tamaki has brought a lot of being a sister to writing the X-23 book. Has been invaluable for that comic book to create a really fun emotional connection between the main characters and the reader.
I thought it was because Mariko Tamaki was a clone.
I don't know if that's 100% true.
Oh.
I feel that might be a lie.
Like, I knew she was writing from experience. I thought that was the experience.
But anyway, so we're talking about this Vision book mostly in the past tense because Marvel announced via a retailer email
On Thursday.
You could say buried in an email.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's kind of how I'd put it, in the same way that Marvel will send out multiple emails about variant covers for different comic books.
Holy shit, will they? We get 1 to 2 a day this week, of Spider-Geddon variant, #1 variant covers.
Yeah. Buried in the publishing note section of Marvel's weekly email to retailers, the Marvel mailer, there was a notification, and I want to see if I can bring it up, because just to give you an idea of how little Marvel wanted anyone to be aware of this.
I mean, look, everybody wants to control their own narrative. We do it, Hollywood does it exclusively, but lately, comic publishers are doing it more and more to a point where it's almost a detriment to the reading community and the retailing community. And we don't have to know why. If a book is taken off a schedule, we don't have to know why. We can always assume, it's a writer, the writer's behind, the artist behind, whatever.
Sure.
We don't have to know. But to give us... it's better when it just says Marvel could not be reached for comment than to get information like we were given. And Dal, back to you.
So
at the news desk.
In this week's Marvel mailer, this is the order their email went in. Orders due next week, which is a giant section of stuff.
Hold on, Dal. I'm pretty sure there's a line in the bottom of every Marvel email that says you're not allowed to discuss this with the
tough
public.
doing it. Then a new item section, stuff's going back to press, an announcement of the deep discount collection sale, back to press collections.
Allegedly.
New downloadable Facebook banners, the Marvel Weekly Flip, items from previous Marvel mailers, November retailer exclusive variant covers, deep discount offers,
Supposedly.
Variant ratios, Spider-Geddon tie-in listings,
Possibly.
new printings, slipcases being back in stock, back to press collections.
That part's true.
Reader chronologies for trades, Marvel vendor tool page, limited reorders are available from Marvel on the following items.
I mean, we're getting into the weeds here.
Final order cutoffs, on sale dates, Marvel poster programs.
Which has like 100 posters listed, so nobody ever goes through that.
When you click to place a reorder, then Marvel News. So this is the order that they announce things in.
Once you make it to that point, past allegedly everything Dal hypothetically said.
X-Men Blue Trade Paperback Volume 5 is now 176 pages instead of 184 pages. Then the Spider-Geddon Tedesco variant is now the Spider-Geddon Perez variant. Marvel Superheroes Captain Marvel Halloween Spooktacular now has this creative team. Moon Knight 200 and variants will have interior art by him instead of him. Return of Wolverine #2 remastered variant is now Return of Wolverine #2 Mobius Hidden Gem variant. X-Men Black Juggernaut #1 and variant will be written by this team instead of this person. Black Panther #7 Noto variant is now Black Panther #7 Walker variant. Life of Captain Marvel number 4 will have interior art by this team instead of this team. Spider-Geddon number 1 artist variant is now the Spider-Geddon number 1 Garon variant. Vision number 1 of 6 and variants has been cancelled and will not be resolicited. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse graphic novel trade paperback Spider-Man will now be titled Spider-Man Spider-Verse graphic novel trade paperback Spider-Man. There is no content change. And then on from there. So, like, dead in the middle, they're like, hey, by the way, the series that you haven't even ordered yet that we've been promoting, yeah, we canceled that. It's not coming back.
It's never coming out.
No explanation as to why, just canceled. Done. Marvel clearly doesn't want to talk about it. By the way, they absolutely buried the lead.
When DC will say something like, the Impulse Omnibus has been canceled, it'll come out under a different format. Fine, the sales were bad, they're going to put out in a soft cover.
They got a number, the number was not enough to go to press on. They canceled the book.
Or
I understand that.
They'll say things like, this content has been canceled and won't be resolicited. You can tell it's a sales thing. But
this is a book we don't turn our numbers in for another 10 days.
Yeah, we haven't ordered this yet.
Yeah. Not only has final order cutoff not happened, initial orders have not closed on this.
And the creative team has completed 4 issues.
Yeah, according to an interview, sort of, or comments that Chelsea Cain gave to Entertainment Weekly, because Marvel has said nothing. And it's been reported on a couple comics websites based on tweets that she put out saying, they did this to us, we did not do this to them. This is not the creative team couldn't come together, or they couldn't get the book done, or they had to step away. This is Marvel telling them the book is not coming out. So Chelsea Cain went to Entertainment Weekly and said, here's what's going on because Marvel won't talk about it. And Marvel had basically preferred she not talk about it so that she would get whatever blame, whatever rumors would start, would land on her, because the online community, as typified by terrible men, would probably lay the blame at her feet. So this is her getting out in front of that and saying, this was not me, this was Marvel. So all 6 covers were done by Marcus Martin. The first 4 scripts totally done. The first 3 issues penciled and inked. They were good to go. And they'd been working on this book for 2 years.
It was
with
right
no negative
after
feedback.
So going back a little further, it turns out that Mockingbird, which is a series we enjoyed immensely, and it lasted 8 issues. When issue 3 came out, she was told, you're done at 8. Don't tell anybody. So we didn't know that. What are you doing? I don't know what's happening here.
You don't? Go on, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to distract you.
It was like 3 minutes ago.
Oh, I know. I was trying so hard to not acknowledge it, but it doesn't dissipate. It's not going anywhere. It might be getting worse.
It really is.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ.
I don't know what happened. You were like trying to claw your face off. Ladies and gentlemen and all, I apologize for this horribly unprofessional behavior. I don't know what's gotten me down. Don't come back yet. It was so tiny.
Oh my God. Big things come in small packages, Patrick.
Can we just acknowledge how great I was at keeping a straight face?
You were. I could not believe you would not own up to this. Good Lord. Oh my God, it didn't help that much.
Now my water is going to taste like apple cinnamon.
Anyway, speaking of terrible treatment, Chelsea Cain, treated horribly by Marvel. She had a really interesting point, though, in the Entertainment Weekly article, which I highly recommend people seek out. In the same space that she was talking about kind of where the creative team was at for Vision and the timeline of when Marvel approached her and how much work they'd put in on it and how great the editorial staff had been to her and her husband and the artist and everyone involved to make sure that the project was right and that everyone was happy with it. There's a point where she talks about how, because she's a freelancer, Marvel could tell her on Tuesday, we're canceling the book. It's not coming out. It's not going to see the light of day. And then on Thursday, it could be announced to retailers, hey, we're canceling this book, it's not happening.
Well, you say announced to retailers.
Well,
but
it was buried in the email, but jumped out at me because I was hugely excited about the book, and we were going to push it real hard. We were going to order a ton of that comic book. We were pitching it not just to the people who were getting the Vision, but we'd pitch it to people who'd get stuff like Mr. Miracle and, obviously Man-Eaters and on from there. Like, a lot of people could be the audience for a 6-issue series with Vision and Viv in it. Like, it just seemed easy for us to sell. The amount of people who've been buying the Vision collections ever since the series ended is a whole new audience for that book. And to not have a chance to sell it, yeah, man, that's the one piece of news that's going to matter to me in the Marvel mailer. But Chelsea Cain talked about how, because she was a freelancer, not only did she not really have any recourse, but a lot of the things that Marvel will then do, as far as like not commenting on it on social media, or the way that she wasn't really protected on social media when she was on Mockingbird, but they'll still demand you have to not tell anybody about this.
I want to jump in for a second and talk about what you just said about her not being protected with Mockingbird, where basically there was all of this uproar and vitriol directed at her. And Marvel had basically said, it'll be okay, don't worry about it. But they didn't do anything. So she thought they were going to come to her aid.
Well, and one of the other things was that back when Mockingbird was being canceled, she knew she was doing the new Vision series.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that could have alleviated some of the narrative that awful people were creating online was saying, look, she's not a bad writer. Like, she's got another project from Marvel coming. That she's not, been abandoned by Marvel. She's not been pushed aside because of, being a woman in comics. It's this project didn't work, there's another one coming, but they didn't want to talk about it yet. So instead the narrative became Marvel canceled a book, Chelsea Cain can't sell a comic book for Marvel. Like, it wasn't what was happening. But it just, but she made a good point that it's kind of ridiculous how much is expected of freelancers, people who work at Marvel and DC especially, to act as employees for a company that is giving them no protection whatsoever, not only in a sense of like social media, but in job security.
Yeah, they're not employees. They don't have health insurance. They don't have benefits. They don't have a 401k.
And books can go away in a heartbeat. A project that you think you're going to be working on for the next 6 months, before it even ships, could be, no, it's not happening. Someone somewhere up the chain decided not to do it, and the explanation Marvel's given so far for why this project isn't happening feels kind of dishonest. I don't know who decided it, and I don't know that it's not true, but it doesn't feel to me like a reason to cancel a series. Marvel as a company is incredibly budget conscious. They would not normally take a book where they've already done 6 covers, 4 scripts, and 3 fully penciled and inked issues, and say, you know what, we're not doing this. Like, you could truncate it, sure. You could wrap it up quickly, but to, before initial orders even come in, go, we changed where we want to go with the Vision, this book is not going to fit our publishing plan. It's the Vision. Like, there is nothing you could do with him that would make a series like this not even retroactively work. Like, even if you're killing him next month in an Avengers comic, you can still do this story as something that happened before he died.
Yeah, it doesn't...
Who cares?
It doesn't matter when this happens.
Yeah. And this is a continuation of a highly regarded comic series that you've already published. So it's not like anything in there is like, oh my god, people are going to freak out about this. Like, no, they're going to want to read it because it's in the same tone as the Tom King Vision series.
Well, did you mention what the only thing they briefly said about the cancellation was?
What was that?
That it doesn't fit with their current publishing plans for Viv and Vision.
Yeah. Which, again, that makes no sense. Like,
because you've known for 2 years what the story is.
Yeah. So I don't
know... They're not just going to hire Chelsea Cain and Mark Mahan and say, hey, write this series. They're going to say, pitch us this series. What would you do with 6 issues? So they knew what the arc was going to be before they started to write it out for full.
And it's been in the works for, again, 2 years.
And even if something did come up, how insulting is it that they would say, oh, well, we're going to defer to this new idea versus what you've been working on for 2 years?
Or if something did happen, to immediately go to, we are canceling a series and you can't talk about it. Like, why would you not try and salvage it in some way? There's literally nothing you could do with the stuff you've already done. You couldn't add another issue. Like, you couldn't make issue 5 the last issue and then give it a new ending to fit whatever else someone's doing. To just immediately go to, from we have no negative feedback to the book is canceled feels insane to me. Like, that is a scorched earth policy where it's like, why would you do that? Not only because it's going to be a complete shitstorm online, but also because why would anyone involved in that project ever want to work for you again? Like, why would you do that to yourself?
I mean, I don't think Chelsea Kane will be invited back to the party.
No, and you had to know this was going to happen. Like, Chelsea Kane is not someone who depends on Marvel Comics for her livelihood and therefore could be cowed into not saying anything and taking this all on her as a, I don't know, the classic, it was fun working for Marvel on this project. Hopefully we'll have something again in the future. I'm not saying anything. I'm going to be totally vague about stuff. We're all friends. I'm not mad. Into, no, here's what happened because I'm tired of being the bad guy in this.
Let me give you a hypothetical I just thought of. First of all, I don't remember the name of the artist in the series.
Ott Cook.
From...
Nothing I've ever heard of.
Okay.
I had to Google her stuff because I'm like, who is this? Because the only stuff they were showing was a Marcos Martin piece, and I'm like, that tells me nothing about the art. But
so
she's good.
This is hypothetical, and this I don't know this person as an artist. I don't know this person as a human being.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only saying what if. None of this is true. I need to make that perfectly clear. What if Marvel found out that this artist is a horrible racist?
Again,
and new things, bad things would come out, but can't slander them.
But here's the thing. If anyone involved in the creative team was so toxic that there's no way a publisher the size of Marvel could release work by this person, you replace that person.
Yeah. They did say with no plans to be resolicited.
Yeah. What's so strange about this is the Vision is at best, third-tier character. That the only reason anyone was interested in a new Vision series was because of the creative team audit and because it was a continuation of the enormously well-regarded Tom King, Gabe Walta series. So the idea that someone somewhere was so fundamentally unhappy that this book even existed that they would nuke it from orbit, I don't understand it. It feels so disproportionate. Like, whatever you were afraid of, whatever reason this book couldn't come out, you've probably made it 10 times worse. I don't want to do an apples and oranges thing, but this feels on the level of, and I know people are going to laugh at this because it sales-wise and value-wise, this is like the Marvel Publishing version of getting rid of James Gunn. Like, now this is all anyone's talking about from a book that maybe would not have been a high seller.
Yeah.
Now it's like, that book got written up in Entertainment Weekly.
Yeah.
That wasn't going to get
Weekly was calling Marvel for comments.
Yeah, they're not going to put this in Entertainment Weekly if it comes out on November 14th or whatever. It's because it's news now. It's news now because you guys, for whatever reason, decided to erase it from existence instead of doing literally anything else that would make it just, I don't know, maybe a project that later on a panel in San Diego, Chelsea Kane's like, yeah, I didn't have fun working on that Vision project. Now it's, why would you do this? But Marvel, traditionally, has a weird way of making mountains out of molehills. You know? Of taking something that wouldn't have been a big deal and then finding some way to make it substantially worse PR-wise. So this is just, I guess they were due again? I don't know. Sure. Yeah, so weird to me.
More and more every week there's talk in the retail community about how specifically Marvel and DC are seemingly going out of their way to alienate retailers, doing things specifically to harm retailers. Whereas I never see these things as a blatant attack against retailers. I mean, you know, we are their business partners, but it's very one-sided. We need them way more than they need us kind of thing.
Currently, yeah.
And ultimately, any of these decisions these companies make are to make themselves more money, which is why we make decisions as well.
Sure.
And we talk about
generally, but not exclusively.
And we talk about these decisions on Contest of Challengers, a comics industry business podcast on the Yak Channel podcast network here in Chicago, with your hosts
W. Dal Bush
and Patrick Brower. But clearly, their goals are financial. And if they can find other partners who are willing to spend more money than we are to help get their product out in the general public, why wouldn't they take it? Mm-hmm. For example, and I'm thinking of this as I'm about to say it, so it's not going to be well-formed, it is our job to sell comics to the general public. Now, usually, if somebody were to come to us and say, hey, I want all of your Batman Damned and I'll pay you double cover for but I want them all. Like, that is a thing we would turn down because for the future of our business, we can't alienate 100 people who would get the issue from us and then want the others for the short-term double gain of somebody who making one person happy
or
and 99 other people unhappy.
Or to give a slightly different
version. And those
version,
are random numbers for the record.
To give a slightly different version of that possibility, it would be like if we knew that Batman Damned #1 is sold out at Diamond and we only have a limited number of first prints. What if we charged $15 per copy? Like, could you make $7 more per copy?
Then we would be Gmart.
Well, I was going to say, you could charge $7 more per copy, yes, but you're going to lose a ton of customers who are then not going to buy issues 2 and 3 for $8 a piece, or anything else from your store. And that's, plenty of stores, plenty of times have done things. I remember when the DC lenticular covers were a hot thing, and there were stores that the second they came out of the box, they were double cover.
Yeah.
Immediately, because everybody wanted them. And it was like, God, if I shopped at that store, I'd never shop at that store again.
But if we were to be given an outlet that is not within our store to be able to sell the same type of output, like the same quantities of all the variety of comics we sell, just not to the customers on our sales floor, but let's say somewhere else, let's say a convention floor or some other circumstance, why would we not take that? Because we would hopefully double our money.
Yeah, that's the hope.
And that's all these companies are trying to do. Sometimes it seems like it's at our expense, or like, oh, we're not given the opportunity to sell these. For example, the DC Walmart deal, DC has announced they're going to expand the line with a monthly Flash comic, and a couple of specials. There's going to be a Christmas special that they're going to put out, as opposed to the Nuclear Winter special that we get.
Okay.
And there's going to be a Swamp Thing Halloween special. Again, I'd like to point out the difference is that the majority of that content in their holiday special will be stuff we've already sold.
Yeah.
Yeah, there'll probably be a new story in both of these, but
they'll make that available to the direct market at some point.
I strongly believe that the people that are buying these in Walmart are not our fans or our customers who are going to spend money there instead. A lot of it was people who just wanted to buy them up and try to flip them online because they thought there was a novelty to them.
It's additional. It's not a replacement.
You may get one or two, like per store, you may get one or two dedicated Tom King or Brian Michael Bendis fans who can't wait for the collection to come out, and they want to spend their $5 a month to get their, 8 pages, 10 pages?
Something like that.
Of new content. Fine, I get it. I was that guy once. Once upon, I don't mean one time, I mean at one point in my life, I was the one like, I can't wait for this. I will buy this poor quality version to be able to have it first, or I will spend way too much money to have the thing first, whereas now I have the patience to be able to wait for it, which is what I'll be doing for these.
Sure.
But I don't think that a company should be penalized for trying to not even grow, just to maintain or to try to make money in some regard. I don't feel that this is taking money away from us. And I understand there are retailers that do, and I understand there's a fundamental difference between how people run their business and how what we see as DC just trying to grow their brand and get more eyeballs, which is good for everybody, other people see as a deliberate attack and them taking money out of our pockets.
It's been a long time since comic shops have been the place where you get all the comics. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It used to be that you'd order everything because you had to. You had to be the store. This comic shop has to have all the comics. But the market's grown so much that I can't think of any store on the planet that orders everything that's in the previews catalog.
You can't.
And, by that same logic, I don't assume that the comics market is the only market for publishers. Like, the direct market can't be the only place you release content. And sometimes that's going to mean exclusive content or content first in other markets. It's
Before I had a subscription at a comic store, I was buying my comics on the newsstand when you can get them on the newsstand. It was hard to do that because you couldn't predict when they were coming out. You didn't know for sure how many copies they would get. You didn't know what time of day they were coming out, all those kinds of things. Once I found a direct market store that had a subscription service, which was a thing that was new to me and my brother at the time, we signed up and we bought our comics through that store. Even though they were still available on the newsstand, we liked the convenience and like the safety of knowing we were getting our books. When the newsstand market disappeared, we were fine because we were still getting our books from our local comic shop. However, the publishers took the hit for that because there was so many less people reading comics as a result of newsstands going away, even though the newsstand market wasn't profitable, and they had to take, I don't know, millions of dollars of returns per year. Or I guess not. I'm getting the phrasing wrong. I don't know that it's $1 million of returns. Maybe it's just they didn't make the money they thought they could have made. And plus, they had to pay to print those comics, and they have to pay when they get them back. They can't resell them. They're gone.
right.
So there's terminology I'm getting wrong. So I'm sure that the newsstand market went away because it just wasn't working and no one was making any money. But it did make it harder for a lot of people to find comics, especially those that weren't committed to a monthly basis or those that didn't have a local comic shop or know that a local comic shop existed. And I firmly believe to this day that should the newsstand market come back stronger than just in Walmart or what have you, that's better for comics. And I don't see challengers losing money because comics are available everywhere. It may be some of the casual shoppers buy something somewhere else, but hopefully that drives their love or makes them want more, and they come to us because they know we have it.
That's what we said back when Walmart started doing the DC stuff, was hopefully, best case scenario, someone picks up one of those Batman things, goes, hey, Batman's really cool, where can I get more Batman stuff? And they find a comic shop.
This is going to be a little bit more cryptic. I'm going to see if I can't give you the gist of this story without saying names. But I was having a conversation with someone today about a couple of years ago, we got a lot of new customers for a very specific reason, a thing that we had at our shop that we fought to get, and then it benefited us. And then we lost that thing, and that thing became prevalent elsewhere. And we thought the people that were brought in for that specific, I hate saying thing, but I don't know a better way to say it, while still being cryptic.
Right.
You know what I'm saying.
I do. I figured it out.
And we thought we would lose those people because they would follow that.
Right.
Only they didn't, because they realized what they have with us is something they want to keep.
Which is nice.
And if they were to follow elsewhere, they would not have this experience. And that is honestly like one of the things that has made me feel like, oh, we know we're doing it right, because this didn't affect us like it could have.
We became as valuable as the thing that they found us for in the first place.
Yeah. And I think that's pretty great. And it's not about and again, I'm going to take this in a different direction, but I was talking to somebody today about how comics are for everyone. They're not to be hoarded or squandered. They're to be shared and given. While comics are for you, comics are also for me. Comics are for us. But the point of Challengers is we want you to experience comics with the joy and excitement that we do. We want you to
hopefully
get
more than we
do.
do.
I was going to say, we want you to get as much or more out of reading comics as we do, which is why we still do this.
Yeah.
So we think you're coming to us because we can provide you with that, not just the level of product, but let's be fair, we do have a pretty great selection. We don't carry everything, like Dal just said. We can't. There's no way.
Nope.
And
Nope.
somebody's
No store does.
somebody's going to always ask for. Just the other day, we had somebody asking for Halloween Man, which is a book that was announced in 2007 and was canceled and never came out. But we were able to say we don't carry this, but it may have come out, but our distributor never carried it. It was canceled, and the book you're asking for is now 11 years old. So we don't have access to it. So we don't have everything for everybody,
Nope.
but we have a lot of stuff. And
Ew.
I feel like I've gotten way off of what we were talking about. But, hey man, we love comics, right?
Right.
That would have been really hammered home more if you didn't have to cough.
Right.
Sorry.
Right.
So this got a little rambly, and I want to make sure that we're good with what you wanted to touch on with the Chelsea Kane
I think so.
thing. But the moral of that story is Man-Eaters, which we talked about a few weeks ago.
Coming out soon.
Still super excited for.
Yeah.
Still plenty of good stuff from Chelsea Kane and Kate Nemchek, and the other people involved in Man-Eaters. And if you can hear this right now, I'm wearing my Man-Eaters ring because it can be mistaken for a Batman ring, and I wore it for Batman Day.
Cool.
But I will also, and I guarantee you, wear this on Man-Eaters Day.
Man-Eater's Day.
Thanks for listening.
And keep reading comics.
This has been Contest of Challengers. Thanks for listening. Keep reading comics. Challengers is located at 1845 Northwestern Avenue in the Bucktown neighborhood of Chicago. 773-278-0155. Keep up to date with new releases and events at challengerscomics.com. Like Challengers Comics on Facebook, follow @Challengers on Twitter, and help fund this podcast at patreon.com/challengers.